I wanted to jump on here today to share something that came up in an online group that I'm part of. It's actually a singles and dating group. But somebody asked, how do you get through the holidays when you're really hurting? When life sucks and you're just depressed because maybe it's your first holiday after a breakup, but it might not even be because of that situation. You could be grieving. Maybe there's some other loss. Maybe the holidays have always sucked for you. I know this can be a really depressing time for people, and there are a lot of people who have a really hard time getting through. And what I shared in the group is something that I call my depression calendar. This is something I created when I went through the hardest part of my divorce. And what the depression calendar is, it's taking your own calendar, looking ahead at the days that are coming up, and marking on your calendar which ones are going to be the hardest for you. Because sometimes we know that, you know what, that Friday night when I usually would have had date night, that's going to be tough to get through. Or Saturday morning when I would go meet somebody for coffee or have a special walk, that's going to be a tougher moment for me to be sitting at home going, ugh, we're not doing that thing anymore. So look ahead and try to anticipate the times in your week ahead that you know are going to be tough and plan something for yourself. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. Maybe you are planning to go see a movie or have a movie night at home and get your favorite snacks, but make it a thing, make it a plan so that you're not making a decision in the moment of how to get through it. It could be work. It could be, you know what, I'm going to work on a special project that day and I'm going to have my mind occupied because the alternative is me sitting around being depressed about what's going on in my life. So create a plan. That's what the depression calendar is all about. It's not about being depressed. It's about not being depressed and looking at the times where your depression is most likely to kick in and create something for you that's going to make it better. I remember the first time that I really dove into this was Christmas Eve was coming up, and that's when I would have been hanging out with my kids and family, celebrating, and I wasn't going to be part of that celebration because we were split up. We're divorced, and I'm going to be doing my own thing and celebrating with the kids at a different time. And I thought, I cannot be just sitting at home moping around thinking, well, I should be there. We should be doing this thing. We would have. Instead, at that time, I was doing some rideshare driving in order to help pay the bills during my divorce. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to get a basket of candy, put it in the car. I'm going to be playing Christmas tunes. I'm going to wear a Santa hat, and I'm going to have a lot of fun going out, getting as many rides as I can, going to holiday parties, taking people where they need to go. And that was fun for me in that moment. Another time, I got my favorite movies together and I did a movie marathon of, I can't remember if it was Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, but I did like the whole trilogy or like the first so many in the set, but I got all my favorite goodies first, and that was my plan for the night. Other times, it was maybe reading a book. Whatever it is for you, think of something that is going to get you through that day, that's going to take your mind off of sitting around thinking about where you're at. Sometimes it's great to bring people in. Sometimes it's great to meet with friends. If you have a supportive community, that can be really amazing. I know sometimes it's hard. I had friends that would invite me over for things, and it was hard during my divorce to go to someone's house and see them with a happy family hanging out, and I was the plus one. It actually made it worse because I was reminded that I didn't have that going on in my life anymore. So create some awareness around what it is that's going to trigger you, that's going to bring up those hurtful feelings, and find a way not to, just ignore them, but to set them aside for the time when it's going to be the hardest. Create your depression calendar. I know it sounds funny to say that, but we know a lot of times when these things are going to happen. Another thing I'd like you to encourage you to think about is measure the time that you go without having your hard breakdowns. A lot of times we think, man, I'm back at square one. I feel like crap again. But if you made it for 4 hours without feeling like crap, that might be progress. If you made it for 2 days without feeling like crap, that's even better progress. And you'll notice that the time between your worst breakdowns gets further and further apart. Track that if you need to. It really helps. It makes a difference when you can see that things are actually getting better because you're having more good moments. It's not because you no longer have a breakdown. It's not because you're no longer sad ever. It's because you're having more good times, more content times between the hardest times. The last thing I want to share with you is when I was at my worst rock bottom, I had to sit down and actually journal. What three things can I do today to make the next day better? And at first, it was really simple stuff. Get up on time, go outside, take a shower, have a productive day at work. But every day I would write down before I went to bed, what three things am I going to do tomorrow to make the next day better? And it made a big difference because I woke up in the morning already knowing what I was going to do, simple as it was, to just make the day a little bit better than in the past. If you can do any of these things, they're going to make the holiday season easier for you. They're going to make it better for you to get through, and you're going to start actually enjoying life a little bit more. Now, this is not meant to be a full commercial, but I did write a guided journal if you want to mark down those three things for yourself. You can use a blank journal, but if it helps for you to have a framework, my guided journal has a spot for you to write down three things you're going to do every day to make the next day better. It also has a little focus word and a tip, something to try, like go outside, go for a walk, do some jumping jacks, different ideas for different days. You can get any of these. Check out my website, awkwardcareer.com/books. I also have some that help you reframe the way you think and get through some amazing life changes with the Own Your Awkward Life Changes book. But my main point is you don't need to buy the things. You don't need a program from anybody. You just need to be able to spend some time on some self-awareness, looking forward and creating a plan to make your life better. I know you can do it, my friend. We all have these tough times. Sometimes it hits harder than others. And I know that right now a lot of people struggle during the holidays. So I want you to know that there are resources for you without spending any money. Get a piece of paper and a pen. Make notes. I mean, if you don't have a piece of paper and pen, write it in the dirt. Whatever you got to do to capture the thought and just look ahead and say, you know what? I'm going to do something. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to see a friend. I'm going to whatever it is, it's for you. Whatever you want to do that's going to make you happy, make it happen, my friend. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. I'm Andy Vargo, the Own Your Awkward guy. I love helping people thrive. I love helping people realize that that thing we feel quirky and insecure about is actually the key to our superpower, our happiness, and our success. If I can help you as a coach or a speaker for your team, I'd love to chat. But most importantly, you be you, my friend. Lean into your awkward and have an amazing day.